And welcome to today's segment of The Power of Money. I'm your host, Michelle Graves, affectionately known throughout the United States for the last 30 years. Boy, does time ever fly. And I am always delighted, as many of you, my faithful viewers, know, to bring you cutting-edge information, interviews with remarkable people on the subjects of money and things that you need to know to enable you and your family to prosper during these turbulent times. And believe me when I tell you, don't get bamboozled by all the goings on. We are in tough times and families are struggling to keep their head above water, period. That's the reality. So today is no exception. I have an extraordinary guest today who is probably one of the foremost authorities on aid and attendance for veterans, and we'll go into more depth about that today. But if you are a veteran or your wife, if you're the widow of a veteran, then you want to stay put and learn about this remarkable program and how you can benefit. It can make a huge, huge difference in the quality of your life. Tell me anybody that does not need money. Just tell me, anybody. We live in a system where if you don't have resources, it can get very, very tough, particularly if you are a widow. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to my next guest, ask you to get out pen and pencil, and be prepared to learn some things and information that will enable you to change the quality of your life almost immediately. Leiah Kitare, how are you?
Thank you. Thank you, Michelle, for inviting me.
I'm glad to have you here. Where do we want to begin? Let's talk about you and how you got involved in this business.
Okay. What I do is I talk to people about the aid and attendance pension, which is money from the Veterans Affairs to help either veterans, spouses, or widows, as you mentioned, to help pay for their care if they need in-home care or assisted living, nursing home care. And somebody like myself helped me and my mother back in '96. My father was a World War II veteran, and she was a widow who was in a assisted living facility, and somebody approached us about this program. And back then, the widows were only getting about $700-ish a month.
To live on.
Yeah, but between that and Social Security, it helped me pay for her assisted living care.
Oh my
and she got this
goodness.
money for the rest of her life.
She
until
did.
She passed, yes.
Strings attached?
It was a great benefit. It's tax-free.
My goodness.
And so we used it for 6 years. She passed in 2002. And I'm probably one of the few people that actually sent the VA a big thank you note when she passed, telling them how grateful I was for, this money that came each month, because it did help pay for her care.
And
in
that
the
is
facility.
important.
Yep. It helped stretch her money, so I was able to keep her in the assisted living until she had to move to a full nursing care.
Okay.
But it's a great benefit. So about 9 years later, I was asked if I wanted to be trained for this. So I'm paying it forward.
Wonderful.
So
that is so beautiful.
I talk to people about it. That's what I do.
So tell me about this program. Let's start with, this is a VA, Veterans Program.
It's a VA program. Abraham Lincoln promised that they would take care of veterans, their spouses, their widows, and their orphans, is how he worded it.
Abraham Lincoln.
Abraham Lincoln promised our veterans that, their families would be taken care of.
Yes.
So jump a couple centuries, and this program has been around for a while, but I tell people it's one of the best kept secrets. I don't think the CIA could do a better job
I'm like,
of keeping this a
exactly.
secret. Yeah,
exactly.
The last time I heard about it nationally was in 2007. Brian Williams from NBC did a little 3-4 minute segment about it. So people are interested in looking at that. They could probably Google that.
Okay, Brian Williams. Okay.
Yeah, did a special on the aid and attendance pension. They focused on a little widow on the East Coast and full nursing care, but he did go into the history about it.
He did.
It's like about a little 3-4 minute thing.
Okay.
Probably find it on YouTube or go to MSNBC. You should be able to find it. So what we do is, nowadays, people have to need 2 ADLs. And I'm sure you've heard that
Activities of
term.
daily living.
Yes.
Okay.
So like either bathing, medication management, transporting, dressing, undressing. So nowadays, the VA is looking for at least 2 ADLs.
So 2 activities of daily living. Okay.
So if, sometimes I'll hear from a veteran or a widow that, I ask them, how's your health? And, I take long walks around the block and, I get in my car and I drive here, there, and everywhere. You might be a little bit too healthy for this right now.
Yeah, okay.
But this program is more for the veteran, their spouse or widow, and even spouses can qualify for this too through the veteran.
Now, does the spouse have to be a long-term married spouse, or can it be a recent spouse?
It could be a new spouse, but sometimes we run into spouses that are extremely ill.
Oh, wow.
That may need the 2 or 3 ADLs, and meanwhile the veteran is quite healthy. So sometimes we can take care of their spouse.
So he can be healthy and a veteran, but his wife is not.
Yep.
And so she could make application for the program.
He would make the application
on behalf of his spouse.
On behalf of the spouse.
Okay, that's very nice. I like that.
It is. So,
I like that.
Need 2 ADLs. So if a veteran or spouse or widow is living at home, and maybe their adult children are helping to take care of them. I'm running into a lot of families living together.
Okay.
And you've seen the blended families. Many times the children are trying to keep their parents at home. So many children are giving up their jobs and either becoming full-time caregivers, or we might have a family of 3, 4, 5 children and they all take turns.
Okay, keeping the parent in the
well,
home.
It's interesting, the VA is now recognizing the adult children as caregivers. So many times we could even get mom and dad approved using the children as the official, caregivers. So you can have a professional company come in, or we could use your children as your caregivers.
Oh, really?
And the VA will approve and give money to help, pay for care. Because many of these children also need a break too.
Oh, yes.
So I do encourage them to bring professionals in, or sometimes we have friends or neighbors, helping to keep our veteran spouse or widow in the home.
So is the objective to keep them in an independent environment where they are at home?
Many want to be there. I have many families that want to keep their parents at home. But
So that's
sometimes,
familiar,
if you don't have a large circle around you, then assisted living is going to be the next step.
Okay.
So the assisted living bill will be a deduction for us. The VA will recognize that.
Okay.
If we're not using the adult children, paying them as a bill, we could use the assisted living bill. It's another way of qualifying them for this program. But Michelle, for a married couple, it could be up to $2,100 a month.
Of tax-free income?
Tax-free income. A widow can qualify up to $1,149 a month, and a single veteran up to $1,788 a month. And I am saying up to.
Okay.
It just depends where they fall into it.
Okay.
And there's a lot to cover, and it's hard to do it in an hour.
I know,
but we're just trying to give them
at least
an appetizer.
Yes, because I
I
absolutely happen to believe that there are many, many veterans and their spouses who could appreciate this benefit.
Absolutely.
Tax-free money is tax-free money.
Absolutely. And the money is used to help pay for their care.
Okay.
It gets, if they're mentally competent, it gets direct deposited into their checking account, just like their Social Security.
Now, is there a problem if they are getting Social Security, or is this considered additional income?
This is totally separate.
Okay, that's totally separate, totally
Right.
separate. So what is the criteria? Who qualifies?
Okay, my veteran had to serve at least 1 day during wartime.
Okay.
And 90 consecutive days. 90 consecutive days. So if he was drafted or he was activated, let's say 2 days before World War II ended. You know, if he was in for at least 1 day during wartime and then was in for at least 3 months, 90 consecutive days,
he would be eligible.
a veteran would qualify for this.
So it has to be wartime. So give me the wars that they consider
Okay.
wartime.
All right. World War II is December 7th. I'm going to give you exact dates too.
Okay.
December 7th, 1941 through December 31st, 1946.
So that window would qualify for veterans
Yes,
who were
at least
in
1 day during
1 day
wartime.
and 90. Okay.
Korean War. I'm working
Okay.
with a lot of Korean War veterans right
Okay.
now. June 27th, 1950 through January 31st, 1955.
Okay.
Okay. Now, Vietnam has 2 dates. I'm going to read the official date to you first.
Okay.
Which is August 5th, 1964 through May 7th, 1975. And you and I are both baby boomers. We remember that.
Oh, I remember Vietnam vividly.
Yes.
Boy, my goodness.
Now, they had people over there before the war. They had boots on the ground.
Okay.
Before the war. So they sort of opened up a window for them. We had not declared war yet.
But they were there.
But they had supervisors and people over there. So that date is February 28th, 1961
Okay.
through August 4th, 1964.
Okay.
For that window, you had to be over there for at least 1 day, boots on the ground.
Okay, plus the 90 days.
Plus 90 days.
Okay. And the
Of service.
Okay, of 90 days
Okay.
of service.
And right now, I haven't helped anybody from the Persian Gulf, but that started August 2nd, 1990.
Okay.
I haven't run across any of those guys yet. They're still quite young.
But it's coming.
It's coming. I do hear from those who were hurt overseas during that period of time. So they will qualify for something called compensation. Have you ever heard that term?
No, I have not.
Okay. The VA has compensation. That is if you were wounded during wartime. Like in World War II, a lot of the guys were near tanks and heard the explosion. So all of my World War II guys can qualify for a free hearing aid.
Really?
Yes. Free hearing aid. Yep.
Through
Because they
the-
figure they were somewhere near a tank, somewhere
When
during
that-
their period.
yes.
Yeah.
Now,
so they could
is
qualify
that-
for a free hearing aid through the VA.
Okay, I was gonna
So I
ask.
encourage people to check that out instead of
Okay.
spending a lot of money. Check it out first, see if you get one.
Okay. What did they
Okay.
have to prove to get a hearing aid?
World War II guys, probably that they were probably in Europe during World War
Okay,
II, maybe on
okay,
a ship.
okay.
And heard the kabooms.
Right. I would think that would damage the
Yeah.
eardrums.
A lot of them are suffering with that right now.
Okay.
So that usually qualifies them for maybe $200 or $300, but it can go up to almost $3,000 if the VA deems them 100% compensation.
Huh.
So, you know, sometimes I meet guys that are getting 40% compensation, sometimes 60% compensation. If they're married, I could get them the difference between their compensation and the aid and attendance program, so we could sort of piggyback some
Okay.
money. They don't qualify for the full amount of both.
Okay.
Okay, but we could piggyback with the maximum amount. So, for example, the compensation would be like $3,000, aid and attendance would be $2,100. So if they're married and we're doing the aid and attendance program, if they are getting maybe $600 from the VA for compensation, we should be able to get them another $1,500.
Oh,
But
that's
they can't get another $2,100. on top
right,
of it.
but
Up
still,
to the amount, yes.
still.
Yeah, so if any of
That's-
your
that's-
listeners were hurt during wartime, check out the compensation first. I
Check that out
recommend-
first.
Yes, and they have to go to the VA for that.
Okay.
Because they're going to be working with a VA doctor on that.
Okay. And if it can be determined that it is a result of their wartime
Yes.
experience, then they are entitled to compensation for that.
Yes, they might be able to qualify for some money through
Okay.
compensation.
And then they can come over to this program.
yeah, if they have the 2 ADLs,
Okay,
2
two.
activities of daily living.
Right,
yes.
okay, okay.
So if they need help with bathing, a lot of times bathing and medication management are 2 popular ones. If you see a veteran or a widow with a walker, and they're usually bent over and barely walking, it's interesting. A lot of times I talk to their children, it's like, you know, maybe they need help in dressing and undressing too. So they could dress themselves. How many hours does it take? Yeah, because if they could barely walk, I know that they're hurting and trying to dress themselves. So I tell people, think about that one too. Let's make it easy for mom and dad. Maybe have somebody help dress them.
Yes, yes, it would.
Use their fingers for buttoning.
Yes.
Yep.
What type of discharge are we talking about?
For the veterans, the most popular one is the DD 214.
Okay.
It's just their discharge paper or separation paper.
Okay.
The Navy, the Marines, they all have different codes on it, but whatever their separation paper is, when they leave the military, they are told to protect that paper. And believe it or not, 90% of my clients still have their original discharge papers.
Oh my goodness.
Yep. Now, if they cannot find it, they could contact the VA. They could write a letter to the VA. There's a form online. They could go to va.gov and they could request a copy of their discharge paper. And I've had a few clients tell me that they contact their congressmen or senators. Like sometimes they can help them too. It's important that they find that. With widows, I tell them to go to the funeral home or cemetery. If they got a flag, they had to show proof that their husband was in the military. So many times there's a copy of the discharge paper at the funeral home or cemetery.
Right.
They usually give the widow back the original, but she may have lost it.
Okay.
So go back, get a copy of it. If the VA gave her a flag, if she had military funeral, they know that he's a veteran. Most of the time I need the original documents, but in this case, I send copies. The VA should already have a copy of the discharge paper because of the death. And
it has to be, it can't be a general discharge. It would have to be a honorable or medical.
Honorable, medical. There are times when the VA has accepted a dishonorable discharge. I have not run into that, but an associate of mine has, and the VA did let go through. And sometimes it just depends on the reasons. We leave that to the VA to make that final determination.
So what are your age requirements?
We work with the senior veterans, so 65 years or older. Or if my veteran is on 100% Social Security disability, it does open up the door for this.
Really? So they don't have to be 65 if they're on 100%?
100% Social Security disability. Now, a widow has to be 65 or older. The disability has nothing to do with her. It has to be my veteran.
That's reasonable. That's reasonable. So what does this mean for a veteran or his surviving spouse, this program? Tell me how this has changed lives that you know of.
Oh, quite a bit.
Because you've been doing this for years.
11 years. Yes. I've been talking about this program.
And people still don't know.
Yeah, it's one of the best kept secrets. I work with a lot of folks going into facilities, for example. So let's say I have a veteran with maybe $1,000 a month income, $1,500, $2,000 a month income, even $2,500 a month income. It could be any amount. But if the cost of their care with like assisted living is going to be more than their income, that opens up the door for the full amount.
So let me ask you a question, not to beg an argument, but if a veteran is going into a facility that's going to cost him or her $3,000 and they're only bringing in $1,000, why would they even go into that type of facility? They're using, how are they making it?
They're using savings.
To meet the shortfall.
Yeah, or if they could find out about this program. I mean, think about this. If their income is $1,000, and for example, a single veteran, we're adding another $1,700 a month income to his money, that brings his income up to almost $2,800 a month, $2,800 a month. So if he's at $3,000 a month cost for assisted living, his shortfall now It's only
$300.
only $200-300, and it's no longer $2,000. So that would help stretch the money that they have
Okay.
to help
Okay.
pay for their care.
Okay. So under this program, the VA really is not concerned about whether you are poor. For example, with Medicaid, as you know, you're only allowed to have $1,500.
Right.
Period.
There is a threshold with this, but it depends on age. So
Okay.
I'm not going to get into that right now. It's complicated. There's a lot of formulas, a lot of formulas involved. That's why I encourage people, don't do the application yourself. Please do not do it yourself. Go to your local VA office, your county VA office, DAV, American Legion.
Okay, they all know about this?
Let those guys help you with that. Yeah, go to your local VA medical center. There should be people there. Up here in Dayton, you've got a VA hospital that has quite a large staff. You also have Wright-Patterson Air Force Base.
You do. You definitely do in the Dayton
Butler
area.
County, Warren County. There's some great people out there that, and all of them are veterans themselves, and they truly want to help other veterans. So contact these guys.
So, and not to be argumentative, but the question does beg to be asked, and that is, if you've got all of these organizations within VA, why isn't this program known better?
I don't know.
No, Leiah, I'm not trying to pick a fight here. I'm just saying to you, you've rattled off a bunch of different agencies that are under the aegis of the Veterans Administration, and yet I know people that can benefit from this program.
It might be something that they just have to sit down with their VA officer and talk about. What is out there for me? A lot of people just are very silent and quiet about this, and I'm really surprised. I don't know.
They've given their lives for this country.
Yes.
They deserve better. I mean, I'm not trying to sound hysterical, but I believe that any person that signs a dotted line saying that I'm willing to die, that our democracy is intact, and I'm willing to do this because I love my country, the least we can do, I mean, this country takes care of everybody.
Yes.
But we can't take care of them.
Quite surprising, isn't it?
That's beyond this.
I would love to see people just burn up the phone lines of their local congressmen and senators and just say, why isn't this program promoted? That's the biggest question I hear is, why isn't this program promoted more? And I don't know. I don't know, but I encourage people, contact your congressmen and senators and just say, what can we do to encourage, more of our veterans to be able to find out about this wonderful program. When I work with families, I mean, this makes the difference whether this family can put their loved one
I can't even believe
in a facility for care, or whether they could take care of them at home. Because even at home, I run into cases where my veterans or spouses are getting almost 24-hour care from their children.
That's
and luckily,
hard.
Here again, there is a document I can use that we recognize their children as caregivers, just like what the assisted living gives them, and we could get them approved at home.
Okay.
They can be approved at home.
Now, at what point, if they have to go into a long-term facility, we've transitioned from home to assisted living, and now they're looking at a nursing home.
Nursing home. And unless they've had long-term care, they're going to be going through their savings. And I know there's some elder care attorneys out there that might be able to help them with that also. But let's say we run to a family that is either they've been getting the program and they're going on Medicaid, or maybe they're already on Medicaid. The VA, just like Social Security, allows them to keep a portion of their money. So I believe Social Security allows them to keep $50 a month for incidentals.
Right, they do.
The VA allows them to keep, and this is also including widows, allows them to keep $90. So between Social Security and the VA program, my person on Medicaid is able to keep $140 a month to get their hair done, maybe for families to buy them new clothes, new incidentals, maybe they need a new TV or something. And then upon their death, that money could go towards their funeral.
It can.
So, yeah, as long as they spend the money on the funeral or dinner, you know, party at the funeral.
Let me understand this. When they go into a long-term care facility, this is permanent now.
And this is if they're on Medicaid. They could be paying cash.
Right, but let's talk about this.
Okay.
Does this money discontinue at the point they go on to Medicaid?
No, it's just part of the money that they pay
to the
nursing
facility.
home along with Social Security.
Okay.
You know, to help bring the cost down, and then Medicaid pays the difference.
Right. Okay, so this will continue.
Yes.
For as long as they live.
They continue getting the money, and the family just writes a check to the nursing home, everything but $90.
Right.
They're allowed to keep $90. And you know what? That's a lot of money.
Well, I think trying to,
is $140 a month for incidentals.
Right.
I mean, that could also make a difference whether they get their hair done or a new piece of or
socks
or anything.
Yes, something.
Absolutely. New TV.
Right. Right. My goodness gracious. I guess where my irritation comes again is that in this great country that we call America, the United States of America, that the group that signs up to give their life, this is different from the police who receive a salary, because you can't pay people enough money to go into another country and die.
Yeah, they get a minimum
I mean,
amount of money. I'm not sure how much
it's not a lot.
it's not a lot.
I know veterans, and I know people that are actively in service now, and when I ask them what motivates you to do it, and they said, because we love our country.
Absolutely.
All of them say the same thing. They love their country. And my position is, which is why I wanted you to come on, is that this is something they are entitled to.
Yes.
And this
that was promised.
It was promised to them and their families, and therefore they should be able to use it.
Yes.
Now, is this program in jeopardy? Will it continue? Do you know?
I hope it continues.
I know you do. I do too.
I hope it continues.
Is it funded properly?
There's plenty of money there.
Okay.
As far as I know, there should be plenty of money there. And here again, many people are afraid that this money might be taken away from the young guys. It's not. It's for the senior veterans.
Okay.
Okay.
Because they have to be 65.
65 and older.
Older.
And one thing I wanted to mention to you, Michelle, is widows. A widow is somebody who is married to a veteran, and the veteran passed, and they have not remarried.
Okay, so she's still a widow from him.
She cannot be divorced from him.
She has to be married.
Or, in cases, I may find somebody who remarried after the death of the first husband. My question is this new one the veteran?
Okay.
If he is, we're okay.
Okay, but if he's not, too bad.
She is, and he passes, she is a widow of a non-veteran. Can't go back to the first husband.
So if, and I'm just doing this by hypothecation, if she was married to a veteran and he expired, and she remarried another veteran and he expired, she's only entitled to widow benefits off of one.
Just one, the last veteran.
Okay, the last veteran.
The last
veteran. Okay.
And many times I work with her adult children from the first marriage, so then we have to try and contact the second family and find the discharge paper and everything like that. Usually we do it successfully.
Okay,
that's
good.
But she cannot be divorced from the veteran. And I've had people tell me I was married to him for 30 years. But you're divorced.
Oh, man. She didn't know. She would have stayed.
I told her to go find herself another veteran.
Better go. I was going to say.
Like, I'm 90 years old. That's okay.
Yeah, 90 years old. Start hunting. Start hunting.
That's a major question, so I just wanted to clarify that.
Okay.
It's a widow, that means he passed and you have not remarried.
Okay.
A
Got it.
non-veteran.
Okay.
So,
That's a little bit different from Social Security.
yeah, it is.
Yeah, it is. So in a situation where she is a widow and she needs help,
Needs assistance, yes.
and she's struggling on very little money,
Yeah.
this could be a godsend for her.
Many widows raised their children. They didn't work. So unless he got a good Social Security check, I'm seeing not that great incomes. 'Cause
Right.
when he passes, they're going from 2 Social Security checks to 1. And many times she'll get his Social Security check.
Okay, because his was the
You know,
greater
but
of the two.
I've run into some where it's not that great. So
Yeah,
she'll get
yeah.
the greater of the 2.
Yeah.
But a lot of times it's mostly hard on the widows. It's
And the
hardest
truth
on
of the
widows.
matter is, Leah, it's the women that live.
Yeah.
Men
Usually
die.
Usually they outlive their
They really
husbands.
usually do outlive their husbands, and to live with no money,
It's hard.
that is
What do the
really
children do?
hard. And then to
children do?
become infirm and not able to get dressed and take care of yourself properly, that just seems like a very depressing experience.
Exactly. It
So,
really is. And I've been in full nursing homes that had people there that belonged in assisted living, but they were out of money. And I know that there's some assisted livings that may have the Medicaid waiver now. I'm glad to see that. When my mother was in a nursing home, they didn't have that.
yeah.
And I think that's only maybe about
that's,
5-10 years old
Yeah.
that they have the Medicaid
yeah,
waivers.
yeah. And
Yeah.
that's not all over.
Right.
Yeah, that isn't. But what just comes to my mind is a woman who has been faithful to her husband, and he has predeceased her, and she is living with very little resources
Exactly.
because most of those women did not work.
No.
So
They
they're-
raised their children.
They raised
so-
their children. They did what was right and honorable at that time in history, and they stayed at home and took care of their families and their husbands. And now that he is gone and she's living on a pittance, in fact, I was doing some research, and I think the average income for women over 80 that are widow is $695.
I've seen that, yes.
$695?
I've seen that. I've seen a lot of those.
What? How is this happening? Because I know you go to these people's homes. What do you see? Oh my
I
God.
just sit there and scratch my head and hope that they have children that are helping them. And there are cases when there are children around, and there are cases when there aren't.
And,
I usually contact, social services.
And
We
try to
and get
get
the
an
council on
assessment.
aging
Yeah,
to
okay.
step in, because usually they'll help take them to, they'll help advise them. Okay, and sometimes I work with them, but it's terrible. Women back then, women did take care of the families.
Yeah, they
and
did.
People don't realize if you don't pay into Social Security, you're going to be losing quite a
Right,
bit.
right. Well, they didn't pay in because
They were taking care of
they
their
were taking
families.
care of their families.
Their
That-
husbands came home from World War II and they needed jobs, so
and
women
that's-
quit.
They quit. That's how that worked. So now here she is, infirm and having conditions, and it's nice to say that your children are there to help.
Yes.
But we live in a world today, Leiah, where children are everywhere.
Exactly.
They don't stay home. They've scattered. And so she's basically there dependent upon who?
The kindness of neighbors
The
is what I'm
kindness of
seeing a
neighbors.
lot.
Is that what you're seeing?
I'm seeing that a lot. The
Okay.
kindness of neighbors.
Are they able, may I just ask, are they able to eat? Do they have enough food? I mean, are they able to, because I'm telling you, $695 a month.
You can't live on that.
You can't do it.
Yeah, what usually happens is there's emergency situations. They end up in the hospital.
Okay.
And a social worker from the hospital will usually take over But yes, I've opened up refrigerators and seen it pretty empty. This is a whole new game.
I am
And
hurting
I'd like to see our government
inside.
take care of our own citizens. I know.
Oh,
we
forget
need to
that
be
political
compassionate.
correctness.
That's another story.
Forget that political correctness.
Yeah.
We must take care of our own first. And it starts with the very people that have given their lives for this great nation. And I don't make an excuse about it. We're a generous country. But I am saying to you that there are innate responsibilities that have to come to fore right now. And this, I know as an advisor, I already know the carnage that's out here. And people don't have enough money. And now they're old. Oh my God, you're old.
Yes.
And you're not moving the way you moved. Now, I'm just telling you for myself.
No, they can't get in their car and drive to the store.
They can't do it if they have a car.
If they have a car.
If they have a car. Because a car requires repairs, maintenance, and insurance.
Can't afford a car.
And I'm telling you, at $6.95 a month, that's not happening, okay? No. And the little bit of savings they have, I just don't think are enough. So I like what this program can do.
It can make the difference with the widow. She could qualify up to $1,149 a month to help pay for either in-home care or going into a facility.
Right.
Whatever she needs.
What do you recommend? Because truthfully, is there any logic if she owns a home, fully paid for, and she's only getting this $6.95? And I'm just asking your professional opinion, because many families are dealing with this right now, which is mom can't afford to stay in that home.
Exactly.
Based upon what she's bringing in as far as monthly income. In a situation like that, would it be a better thing for her to apply for this program while she's still in the home?
Yes, she could do that.
Okay.
If the family's helping her, trying to help her stay in home, she could go ahead and apply. Or if she's living with her children.
Okay.
Or many times, there's the grandchild who might live with her.
Right, right. I've run into that as a lot with the one or two children, adults, would be living with her in this home. But at a certain point, that becomes a challenge.
It does.
Yeah.
It truly does. You and I are both, financial background, and there are times when, a house is $100,000 or $200,000 investment that's just sitting there.
Yeah.
And, there are people out there who don't have enough money to pay for their drugs. So there's some other options that they can do. I'm sure you've had guests on your show.
I have.
About reverse mortgages.
Yes.
Or I tell people, you know what, let's get you a snazzy little apartment.
Sell
your house, get yourself a snazzy little apartment. That'll give you some extra money to live. The last years of your life should be comfortable.
Leiah, I'm there.
So,
I am so,
absolutely.
I really do mean, I'm just getting back from vacation, and I was in a state that is full of retirees. They're all seniors. Florida's, I mean, it's nothing but older people and elderly people. And I engaged in quite a bit of conversation with many of them while I was down there, just engaged in conversation, because a lot of them don't have anybody to even talk to. And one of the things that I heard consistently was, I was so busy trying to make money when I was younger that I got my priorities skewed. And now here I am, 85, and I've got to eat, I've got to have this, I've got to have that. My health is not what it should have been or could have been. And it's forced me to look at aging very differently now. And that is, if you are going to be preparing for retirement, and I hope you all are listening to me good, you better be preparing your resources so that you will not find yourself in poverty.
You know, it's really interesting. I was on vacation a couple weeks ago.
Right.
I was on a cruise, and there were people on this cruise ship, a lot of Americans living outside of the United States because
Really?
it's cheaper. Living in Mexico.
Yep.
I ran into a Vietnam vet that is living in Taiwan.
Taiwan.
His Social Security, until he started getting his pension, his Social Security, he told me, was about $1,000 a month.
Okay.
And he went there to visit a friend and asked, you know, with $1,000 a month, how well can I live here?
Mm-hmm.
And they said, you will live extremely well. And he moved to Taiwan.
He moved
he
to
said
Taiwan.
He said he's got a beautiful, cheap apartment. His food is cheap. He pays a woman $28 a month
To clean his
to
place.
come and clean twice a week and do his laundry, do a little cooking for him. I ran into Americans living in Costa Rica.
I was going to
and
ask you about
Panama.
Costa Rica. Yeah.
Panama, it's extremely cheap to live. And with their Social Security, they're living quite well. What's beautiful about this program is any American anywhere in the world can qualify for it.
Are you serious?
Back in 2006, I helped an American living in Australia
To get this?
qualify for this program, yes.
And he gets money sent to his bank.
Social Security, the beautiful thing about America is direct deposit.
Exactly.
I know some of the other countries have rules that they have to come home every so often, but I don't believe that's true with America. You know, as long as they pay their they're still an American citizen.
They pay their taxes. Funds are wired
file
to their bank.
taxes, funds are wired. So we helped an American in Australia get this program.
That is awesome.
It's a beautiful program.
I
can't say enough about it.
Well, you've got a fan here, which is why I definitely wanted to have you on. I had a gentleman on maybe 4 years ago who has since come out of the business and is living in Florida taking care of his father, who is getting benefit. But I said we need to revisit this in lieu of what's happening in our economy, what's happening to our elderly, and particularly what's happening to elderly women, because they're not doing well, period.
No, it's rough on women.
It is rough on
It truly
women.
is.
I mean, her mate's gone and her children are everywhere, and you see her in church, and you know, she wears her hats, or she's always got a pleasant smile. But the truth of the matter is that this could be a life changer for her.
Exactly.
If her husband was a veteran. And a lot of those women were married to men that went to war.
Especially during World War II. Yes.
Yes. And so
Yes.
here they are today.
Okay. And one more thing we're going to talk about.
Okay.
We kept saying that he had to serve at least one day during wartime and 90 consecutive days.
Yes.
I do get phone calls from people who served in between wars.
Okay.
And I want to make it clear, I cannot help them. They
If it's
cannot
between
qualify.
wars.
They cannot qualify for this.
Okay.
Now, if they were in between wars and somehow they were separated maybe 2 days after a new war started, here again, they were in for at least one day during wartime. But if they were in for in between wars, they would not qualify for this program at all. So here again, I tell them, were you hurt when you were in service? Were you hurt? Yes. Go for compensation. Compensation doesn't matter.
Okay.
Okay.
They're not looking at
Yeah.
world wars and that type of
Right.
thing.
And if they were in the National Guard,
Yes.
does not count unless they were activated.
To go
during
to war.
wartime. Yes.
Okay.
And a lot of the National Guard, maybe in the early 2000s, were sent to Afghanistan and Iraq. I have an interesting story. I got stopped for speeding coming from Columbus So I went to court, and the woman there told me that, my case has been closed. And it's like, really? Yes, your officer's in Afghanistan. He was in the National Guard,
Yes.
got sent to Afghanistan. So they couldn't prosecute me.
Okay.
So I got out of that ticket.
Yeah, I know.
But what's really interesting is about 2 weeks later, I got a letter from, it was a little city, like coming down the 75 belt. I got a copy of a letter that they sent to the state of Ohio demanding the state of Ohio pay my ticket because they lost the revenue because he was in Afghanistan. I just looked at that.
Try to collect on that one.
Oh, I put him in my prayers. I really did.
Really now.
So I thought that was just a quirky little story.
Yeah,
so my National Guard has to National Guard has to be activated during wartime. So in this case, this nice young police officer was sent to Afghanistan. So he was activated.
So in that particular case, he would.
So he would qualify for this one day.
Okay, because
he'd be part of the Persian Gulf.
Okay, that's still nice to know.
Yes.
Period. As he gets older.
I have done workshops that had many young officers in it. And they don't know about this program. So it's like, one day.
One day. Keep living.
Just
one day.
Remember.
One day. One day.
Yep. I met a woman who has not lived with her husband for over 25 years.
They're still married.
Still legally married. He died, and she's now a widow.
She's officially a widow.
She is a widow of a veteran. That she just moved on and had a new family and just never divorced him.
Never divorced.
She's a widow of a veteran.
And she's eligible.
Yeah, one day.
One day. Are there any other areas that we have not covered? Because you are a wealth of information.
Yeah, so I think we've covered quite a bit. They had to serve one day during wartime. They have to be a widow of a veteran, not divorced. They need at least 2 of the activities of daily living.
ADLs,
so if a healthy veteran, a healthy widow, if they're able to run around the block, they will not qualify for this. So basically, they need to be at the point where they're depending on others to keep them alive.
Right.
I almost have to put it that way.
Okay.
Either medication management. We're able to help, veterans, spouses, or widows who may have Alzheimer's. Okay. Usually there's going to be a fiduciary involved that will receive their money and then, write checks on their behalf.
Okay. So
we just go ahead and do the program. The VA will find them either competent or mentally incompetent. There's a form for the doctor to fill out.
Okay.
So the VA will go by that.
Now
so
that can include the spouse being alive. He could be fine, but she is not.
And his wife could be totally mentally, but he has to be spending money on care, or he has to have people coming in order to help her too.
Okay.
You have to have those 2 ADLs, and we have to have what they call unreimbursed medical deductions.
Okay.
So the VA doesn't recognize like doctor's visits and medication right now. After they're approved, we might be able to use those, but the VA is more looking for either adult children that are providing caregiving. We could put a value on their time. If you bring professionals from the outside in, you probably know this, I think the going rate might be anywhere from $18 to $22 an hour.
It is.
If a professional is doing that, then we could assign that amount to the adult child or a neighbor. Or if they're in a facility, an assisted living facility, who's giving them the 2 ADLs, that entire bill is usually a deduction.
Okay, so again, this is if they are in assisted living or considering assisted living.
Yes.
How long does it take to get approved? Because this is the government.
I know.
I'm not kidding you.
My applications used to take 3 months or longer, and I tell people it could be anywhere from, a couple weeks. I haven't seen one of those in a long time.
I was going to say.
I used to have some get approved before the ink on my application would be dry.
Really?
But I tell folks, I still like to say 1 to 3 months on average, but I am seeing 4 or 5 6, 7. I finally got veteran approved at 8 months.
Why the delay?
5 letters to the VA. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if there's a shortage
Of experts?
of veterans who are working, you know, and processing these applications. I don't know what's going on. The VA is having some issues right now.
Well, they are having
and
some
I
issues.
pray that they pull themselves
But they need
together.
to work it out because the military is not going anywhere.
No.
No,
We've had this war going on since 1990.
You know what? When you said
I'm
that,
exhausted
I'm
with
like, the Persian Gulf has been going on since 8 of 1990.
90, yeah. We still have
2000,
guys in
2010.
Afghanistan.
A part of the Persian War.
They have not closed that door yet. So whatever country is, wherever we have soldiers, that country, as far as I know, that number is still open.
there. We're going to have a ton of people that are going to need help because those men are getting, and women, because women are over there as well.
Lots of women.
Lots of women.
And when I was on my vacation, I was talking to a woman, and she was in the early 80s.
Yes.
So she would not qualify for this. She and I talked about that.
Because she was not in an active war.
No.
Oh, man.
She went in, I think, after college.
Yeah, okay.
So, but I'm surprised that 1990. It's been
Well, that's unbelievable.
26 years.
Come on. Right, I'll be gone, dead, finished. And they'll still be doing this thing. But where would people, because time is wrapped up.
Okay.
Can you believe that?
It goes real fast.
It goes real fast. Where can a person go to get information?
Okay, I encourage them to contact their service officers. Go to the VA Medical Center.
Okay.
Okay, there are counties that have VA officer. You know, they have VA offices in the county. Butler County VA office, Warren County VA office. Check your local county. There's guys there.
Okay.
I encourage them to contact Disabled American Veterans, DAV.
Okay.
American Legion.
Okay.
Contact any Army, Navy, any military officers in their local medical centers.
Okay.
And any of those people should be able to help them. Those are wonderful people. They're veterans themselves.
Okay.
They truly love the veterans.
Okay, well,
And usually
Leiah,
the VA has a lot of volunteers too that can
help
with
them
this.
as well.
Yes.
This is wonderful. Well,
Thank you.
and for those of you viewing that want to reach Leiah, you can always contact me via the station, and I'll be happy to make that referral. Simple as that. Hasn't this been fascinating? And time is up and time is over for this segment of The Power of Money. Aid and, my goodness, and attendance pension plan for veterans. Awesome program if you're a veteran from the wars. If you're a widow of a veteran, this is tax-free money that can help you in difficult times when your health is poor, when you're not able to function. It can make a big difference in the quality of your life. I'm Michelle Graves, and as always, I wish you peace, I send you love, and God bless you.
Thank you.
See you next time. Bye-bye.